In this part too, I just want to dwell on some of the red herrings in the 2019 budget. Now, in the 2019 budget alone, when NDC was leaving office in 2016, they left a debt of about 122 billion Ghana cedis. Now, within the 22 months of the MPP, this debt has increased to 170.8 billion. That is almost 50 billion increase in our debt. And now the debt to GDP is about 70.7%. The debt to GDP, it has increased to that. This is a great worrisome for the future generation. And it's something that we need to address. You know, when you normally talk about the phenomenon of the Dutch disease, whereby we have so much inflows, but it cannot reflect in the employment of our youth. And that is why there's so much anger in our youth. And I think that we need to address this issue very well. We shouldn't continue to pile up such debt on the future generation. Now, let's look at it. The future generation, the youth, the young ones, are to pay this. And we are not creating wealth for them. And it's very, very serious. Very, very, very serious. But what about the corruption aspect of it? We're talking about mechanized borehole. That mechanized borehole alone, which is about 45,000 Ghana. Now in the budget, we are spending 132,000 for one mechanized solar borehole with 45,000. And so calculate the corruption index on our GDP growth. We're talking about our GDP growth of 8%. What is the corruption index of that one alone? And this is quite worrisome. And it's something that we need to look at, because our GDP is quite artificial. And now we know that even with the rebasing, we know the rebasing alone, by bringing in other items, we see how it has increased. And because of that, it has reduced the debt to GDP now to around 57.7%. It's corruption alone and overpricing of projects alone is killing Ghanaians, and we need to have a second look at that. And that is why I keep on saying that I have a big problem for a previous government to sign Huhujo's contract and expect the current government to continue. And the current government will continue without letting Ghanaians who are shareholders to know and understand what the previous government did. And all what interests them is just to come out and say that they are corrupt, they've done this, but they will never let us know, because MPP and NDC is a scratch your back, you scratch my back. We don't want that. And in this budget, the 2019 budget, the finance minister was saying that we spend about $600 million pay or take contracts by the NDC, and we cannot get light. But I think that the light was, we were talking about energy. Why do we have to suffer and pay this? The MPP should expatiate on this one so that every Ghanaian will understand what has really gone on. We don't want your forgiveness. You cannot forgive NDC. We are the shareholders of this country, and we deserve to know and understand it. I've already mentioned about the 14.5 billion budget deficit in the first part, and in this second part, I'm tackling this issue. Now we are talking about 180 million for the office of the special prosecutor. We don't want an issue that the special prosecutor will go after those who have been stealing goats. I'm not talking about dead goat. Those who have been stealing goats, they can jail them for 5 years. And those who can steal huge sums of money can fly out, in and out of the country. And so what kind of prosecution? I have already said that the special prosecutor will only catch houseflies, and I still stand by it. I've never reneged until I have seen that action is taking place. We don't want them to, for the special prosecutor to start prosecuting civil servants alone and leaving out the politicians. We don't want that. we want to see real action, so that I don't want us to think that 180 million Ghana cedis as a budget for the special prosecutor, they want to use it to silence him, to bribe Martin Amidu. No. We want to see real actions, and then so this can actually help us to put better systems in place. In this budget, we want to see the government, this 2019 budget, we want to see actions on corruption, how the government really wants to fight corruption. That one alone, it can really help the entire nation. I just want to dwell on this one alone for this second part. If there's a need for us to go through the others, we will do that. Thank you very much.